Next thing on the agenda is the state of the state. And as many of you know, I'm not real big on prepared speeches, and I like to keep it short and sweet. Many things have happened in the past year that have been positive, a few negative things, but just in a brief recap. We had a very successful election year in 2011. We ran dozens of candidates around the state. Across the country, Indiana probably ran more candidates than every other state, maybe every other state put together. We created history in that the Libertarian National Committee donated $50,000 to Ed Coleman's campaign for a city-county council race here in Indiana. They had never done that before. Ed unfortunately didn't win, but we did set a precedent that the Libertarian National Committee will focus on politics and not on interpersonal squabbles and on spending money on ballot access in perhaps states where there's not an organized party. If Mark Rutherford gets elected chair and the LNC remains focused on politics, I see great things for the party as a whole across the country, with Indiana, Ohio, and a few other states taking the lead on doing real politics instead of being a debate society, which we don't want to be here in Indiana, and we haven't been for many years. We have our financial problems ahead of us that I think that we can solve. Mike Cole has taken ownership of special fundraising events. In this case in particular, we will be having a string of poker tournaments focused here in Indiana and across the state. The best thing about that is that we squeeze you guys for a lot of money a lot of times, and we squeeze the people who are in this room almost as much. What the poker tournaments do is allow us to bring in outside dollars at virtually no risk to the party financially, because you can't really lose money on a poker tournament. And Mike will do a workshop about this later on for county parties that can do the same thing, assuming that you meet the state requirements, and most of our county parties will, to be able to get the casino charity gaming license. That will bring in streaming new money. It's not going to be immediate. We have an immediate need for money just on cash flow problem to keep things going. I'm optimistic that that will be a relatively short-term problem, and hopefully next year when I'm making the same speech for the 8th year in a row, or 4th year in a row, or whatever it is, we won't have to spend that much time on financial items. We can go on to the real stuff that we need to do politically. We have been very successful this year in recruiting very fine quality candidates from the top down. Those of you who were here last night to hear our presidential candidate speak, or here during the hour-and-a-half long job interview process today, is very, very favorably impressed by all 3 candidates that came to our convention. I think that come Las Vegas and come the presidential nomination, we will have as our standard bearer across the country, in my guess and estimation, a gentleman who has demonstrated gubernatorial ability and being able to govern a state for 2 whole terms, vetoing 750 bills. Rupert, I hope you could exceed that total. I don't know if the Indiana legislature produces that many bills in 8 years, but it's a goal to shoot for. I think that Gary Johnson and whoever he recruits to be the vice presidential candidate will come to Indiana several times in support of our candidates. Unlike the Barr campaign 4 years ago, Gary's a very good communicator, very libertarian across the board in all his attitudes and all his positions, and I'm looking forward to working with him, assuming he gets the nomination. On the state level, we have 2 great top-of-the-ticket potential candidates, not that I see any opposition in the House, to Rupert Bonham, who's going to be our gubernatorial candidate, along with longtime compatriot Brad Goldstein for lieutenant governor. They represent both new and long-term libertarians, people who are known around the state in a variety of ways, and I don't think we've had a statewide ticket with that kind of name recognition and popularity in the history of the party. I think that will be a great duo. Andy Horning, our other statewide candidate for United States Senate, has been a candidate for us several times, has been the primary focus and leadership of the party for almost 10 years now. And Andy will do just a tremendous job in the statewide debates that he will participate in. He's not a rookie at it. He's done it several times at several different levels, and will present the Libertarian Party of Indiana perspective against the 2 old parties in a very commendable manner. From the top of the ticket down to the bottom, we will have better quality candidates this year. It's kind of been an upset to some people, but the State Central Committee decided at our retreat back in November to initiate somewhat of a candidate qualification form that several of you have completed and moaned and groaned about, according to Chris, but we're getting it done. The reason for that is that we like to run a lot of candidates. Indiana is known for running more candidates than almost any other state in the country, but now our desire is to move forward and move to the next level and run better quality candidates and better qualified candidates. And we can do that by the vetting process that we've been using. And our filing deadline is not until June 30th, so we hope to add more candidates than we will nominate this afternoon for the state assembly, the state representatives, the state senators that are up for election in your areas. I personally have had discussions with candidates, potential candidates, for the other two statewide ballot spots, Attorney General and Superintendent of Public Instruction. We have ongoing discussions with those folks, and we will fill those two ballot spots before the end of the year, or before the end of the filing deadline, and we'll run a full slate of statewide candidates, and as many qualified candidates for the General Assembly as we possibly can. At the county level, I know many of our county chairs are recruiting whatever may be up, county commissioner. I believe there are races for various other things in different counties. I guess the legislature just moved school board elections to this fall, so that might give us enough time to, even though school board elections are nonpartisan, to recruit good qualified candidates to what may be very winnable positions for our people in those areas, even though they're not nominally libertarians on the ballot. I think I've spoken enough and talked about enough off the top of my head about the things that we have done and will do in the future. I really appreciate everybody coming here, and just as I usually do each year, I'd like to have everybody who's a new Libertarian Party member at their first convention please stand up. Anybody that this is their fifth convention, please stand up. Fifth or more. How about that? Some people can count that off. And we're really standing with this is the 15th convention or more. 15th convention or more? Joe, you've been here since the dawn of time, so you might as well just... Everybody. We have a very wide range of both long-term libertarians and some really great new dedicated people. I appreciate everybody being here, and that's my speech. Let's get on with the business of the day.